Kevin Lee challenges George St. Pierre to a title fight at 165 pounds, okay? I want to explain to you guys why this is brilliant, so you guys don't miss this. First off, there is no 165-pound weight class, so Kevin Lee defeats and steps in front of every possible argument and headline that there is, created by guys that follow a narrative of calling out the Conor McGregors or the Khabibs or the Tony Fergusons at 155 pounds. Great argument. I support those guys that are doing it, but he also cuts in front of the line of everybody that's calling out Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington and Robbie Lawler and RDA at 170 pounds. Why does he cut in front of it? Because the weight class doesn't exist yet. There is no argument. He came out and created a conversation. He has now declared himself the greatest 165-pounder in the world, to which there is no argument. Nobody else has ever come out and made that claim. He created a weight class that doesn't exist, and then he called out George St. Pierre. There's no way that that doesn't make headlines. And there's no way he doesn't win the argument. There's no way, at least if you're going to have the argument, right now, number one pole position is Kevin Lee, because he created a topic that doesn't exist, which is why it's brilliant. Everybody wants to call out Conor. Everybody's staying in their weight class. I think the bigger conversation here, in addition to the brilliance by Kevin Lee, in addition that Kevin Lee came out and made a statement, and all of a sudden he's got all of us talking and looking around. And we like the idea, don't we? We realize he's not likely to be fighting George St. Pierre. We realize we're not going to see George St. Pierre fight again, most likely. But what Kevin has done, aside from insert himself into a conversation that prior to him saying it didn't exist, is he has made us open our minds and have a dialogue of, do we need more weight classes? And I say yes. I'm one of the rare ones. I like the interim title. A lot of guys don't like it. I think that it scrapes his knee and it stubs its toe a lot. But I think that some of the heartache is worth the reward when you can end up with a Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley, which makes perfect sense, which is why you have an interim title. Woodley, who was on the shelf for a little bit, the division that's got to get on with it. That's why they were created. We've seen some problems with that, and I know that a lot of you resisted for those reasons. I think the ends justifies the means, and I like it. I also like the idea of more weight classes, though. I like the idea of more opportunity. We see it in boxing. I came from an amateur wrestling background. We're seeing less and less of it. When I was growing up, there was 12 weight classes. They cut it down to 10. Now only 6 are contested in the Olympic Games. I think that it's cannibalizing itself and it's going in the wrong direction. So I think if I believe that, then I must believe the opposite, which is more weight classes and more opportunity and more gold belts and more championships being handed out is a really good thing. I think as we're trying to grow this sport like any other sport, we need kids to see it and go, hey, I want to do that. I want to be part of that. I want to watch that. I want to train that. I want to participate that. That's really important. All sports across the board. And that starts and stops with opportunity. And if you can have opportunity, when I came into this sport, I came in as a fan before I was an athlete, but we had one weight class. In fact, the sport prided itself on the fact that it didn't have weight classes. It actually advertised that. No weight classes. You got Hoist Gracie comes in and shocks everybody that a small guy could do it. Later in my career as a fan, we had 2 weight classes. We had light heavyweight and heavyweight. Now we got so many weight classes, I'd have to stop and think to add them up. We got both genders being represented. I mean, that's a cool thing. That's inclusive. That's including opportunity. It's really good for the sport. It's good for longevity. And I say, the more the better.